Do you think my house smells with how many animals I have? Hi Peas, my name's Taylor, you're watching Pets in a Pod, and in today's video I'm going to be answering some common questions I get as someone who keeps many animals in my house. So first, a little background. I have at least 8 established tanks in my house. Majority of those tanks are filled with reptiles, some of them multiple reptiles. I also have a fish tank, I have 2 dogs, and I have 1 rabbit. And sometimes there's more animals because I am a teacher. If you guys didn't know, I have class pets, and sometimes those go home with me. So I've had mice here and crawdads and more, and lots of stuff. So my house is full of animals all the time. So I want to answer some questions that I commonly get as someone who keeps a lot of pets. To the normal person, it looks like I have a lot of pets. And I personally, it doesn't feel like I do because they run so efficiently. We're in such a good routine, which, by the way, I made a video on that. So if you want to watch my kind of reptile hacks, time-saving hacks video, I'll link it. I'll put it in a card actually too. But watch that video of why it doesn't feel like I have a lot of animals. But to other people, to outsiders, when they hear the animals that I have, it's an instant, oh wow. Number 1 question I get is, how do you go on vacation? How do you go anywhere with that many animals? Well, I'll answer this first. Choose wisely. So me personally, a majority of my animals are reptiles, and reptiles actually don't need to be fed daily in most circumstances. Many reptiles can go a week, 2 if really necessary, not being fed as long as they have water sources. And honestly, I've never gone more than a week. I don't go on vacations more than a week. I don't like to anyway. But like I said, I've chosen wisely. I've chosen reptiles. I've chosen animals that can be gone for a week safely, at least in the reptile realm. Now, who's the problem here? It's my rabbit and my 2 dogs. My rabbit and my 2 dogs do need daily care. They need their water checked often. They need their food every day. My rabbit needs his litter box cleaned every couple days. So they're the real problem here. My dogs, though, do tend to come with me a lot of places, so my dogs aren't too big of an issue. It's my rabbit. So how do I go on vacation with so many animals? Honestly, it depends on the rabbit. If I'm only gone 3 days, I can go without worry. I can take my dogs with me. I don't have to worry. The rabbit will actually be fine for 3 days. If I'm gone longer than that, I just need to find someone like you would for any other pet, and the amount doesn't matter. If you need someone to come to your house for just 1 pet, having 7 more doesn't make a difference. And I think that's the thing people misunderstand. They're like, how do you go on vacation? I'm like, well, even if I had just 1 rabbit, I still would have to consider him if I go on vacation. The amount of animals I have doesn't matter. Now, it might make a difference if the person doing the pet sitting is overwhelmed or doesn't like reptiles, which is why I have a few people I've talked to who are okay with reptiles. They might not be experts, but they're at least okay opening the cage and maybe putting in some insects. And you know what? That reminds me. I should make a vacation video, a vacation prep video for reptiles. I'm gonna do that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. My point is, you just need to find people that are comfortable with reptiles and you guide them to do that. Another common question I get is, does my house smell? Or sometimes people don't exactly ask this, but it is very much implied. Or when people come over to my house, that knowing I have a lot of pets, they'll say, oh wow, it smells so nice in here, which tells me they were thinking it would stink. Now, this is a huge pet peeve of mine. If you are someone who keeps multiple pets and you feel like your house smells, it doesn't have to, guys. It is a huge pet peeve of mine. I do not want my house to smell just because I keep a lot of animals. I live with a husband and I don't want to subject him to smelly animals. I don't like smelly animals, and I don't want people to come over to my house and be like, oh yeah, there's the smelly pet lady. No, especially because smells do get on your clothes, and I don't want to go to work smelling like animals. Primarily, just to be clear, reptiles don't smell, so again, I keep mostly reptiles. Reptiles don't smell. Sometimes they will when they poop, but that goes with cleanliness, and that's my point. No, my house doesn't smell because I keep up on care. I clean the tanks. Actually, they're all pretty much bioactive, so they clean themselves. So my reptiles don't smell. They're self-sufficient. They're self-cleaning. My rabbit, I just stay on top of litter box cleaning, and he's litter trained, so there's not like poop and urine everywhere. So just clean your animals, guys. And for those of you with animals that have an odor, you know, like ferrets, rats, mice, put off an odor anyway. It's not something you can necessarily like clean to fix. There are pet safe air fresheners you can kind of use, or like natural kind of air smellers. You can also plan your house around that animal, like making sure you have a room dedicated to your smelly ferrets and keeping the door closed when guests are over. Diet is a big factor in smell as well. If you feel like your animals are extra smelly, check their diet and check their health. Smell can sometimes be an indicator of that. So there are things you can do, but personally for me, no, my house does not smell. Another common question I actually don't get, but my husband gets, is how do you feel about all her animals? So these are all primarily mine. I take care of all of them. They're all my pets. But he often gets asked, you know, what do you think of all her animals? And honestly, he doesn't mind, and that's because I consider myself a responsible pet parent. And this is why I am passionate about telling you guys to do the same, of like keeping your animals clean, being mindful of the people you live with. In the video I made where I said why I won't tell parents to get their kids pets, I talked about this, and it's being mindful of the people you live with. Now, I get the animals I want, I will admit that. If there's an animal I want, I'm going to get it, but I am very careful to make sure that animal is a good fit for my family as well. Like I've said in the past, you know, a bird would be fun to have, honestly. I like birds, and I would get a bird if I could. But my house is not set up for a bird, and I know that, so I'm not gonna get one just because I want one. A bird would be a bad fit. So I choose animals that are a fit for our family and a fit for me as the caretaker, something I feel comfortable taking care of. And this is why he doesn't mind them. He always tells them, he's like, I don't care. And you know why he doesn't care? It's because I take care of them. I also arrange them well. I have them almost all of them in one room. So if he doesn't come in this room, he doesn't even notice the pets. Now, he's not an animal hater or anything. I don't want you to get that impression. But most people know the pets are mine, and so they look to him kind of like, is your wife crazy? And he's like, no, she loves animals and she takes very good care of them. So I'm just trying to lead as an example to you guys. If you do the same, the people you live with won't mind the animals you keep. Another question I get a lot having a lot of animals, mostly from people online, is when's the next one? What's your next animal? What's going in here? What's going in there? Currently, I'm actually building a paludarium, which is going into my classroom. Constantly, I'm getting asked, what's going in it? What's going in it? What's your next animal? And the paludarium is actually going to be only display. There won't be any animals in there. But people get this impression that because I already have a lot, that I'll just continue to get more and more and more. And I don't want to be that person. You should never get animals just to have more. You should never get animals as a coping mechanism or as a collection or hoarding kind of things. You should never get animals, reptiles, anything just to have more. Especially as someone who posts this on, you know, does educational stuff online. If you are someone who is a vlogger looking into vlogging and you think I want to be an animal vlogger, I want to share my animals on the internet, don't get more just to have more for the internet. Get what you want in the amount you can care for. And that's the thing I want people to know, is I don't get animals just to collect them. I'm very careful and meticulous in how I get them and when I get them. I actually have 3 empty tanks. I could get 3 reptiles today if I wanted. I have the tanks for them. But I'm not going to get more because I have a baby monitor right now. He's not even in his adult enclosure yet, and I don't want any new animals until I am established with him and I have a bond with him and he is in his adult enclosure, which means it's probably going to be another year, maybe year and a half until I get another animal. I will eventually, I do know that. But I'm not getting one now. It is not about the speed, about the collection. It is about the animals you have and the bond with those animals. And the last question that I get a lot is, how much does it cost? So having a lot of animals does come with a certain amount of cost. I have a lot of reptiles with a lot of light bulbs. They all have a basking and a UVB. I have humidifiers hooked up. I have air purifiers hooked up. That's electricity. I have 2 dogs. Dogs are expensive. I have a rabbit, and rabbits are expensive. So how much does it all cost? Honestly, I don't keep a running total. I could if I wanted to, because I do have a little bank thing I use to track expenses, so I could add it up. But I don't like to, because if I'm living comfortably and I can still afford my animals, then I don't worry about it. The animals bring me too much joy. There's too many benefits to having all the many pets that I do. So I keep track of it as far as, you know, how much am I spending? Am I overspending? You know, I need to be wise and save money. But if I can afford them, I'm not meticulously like, how much are these costing? Some people might do that. Some people are a lot more strict with their money. But I just like to know that they're taken care of, I'm taken care of. But I will say my most expensive animal is my dogs, honestly. The reptiles are not too bad. The reptiles are not as much as you think, and that's the point I want to make. Many people are like, oh my god, you have so many animals, that's so expensive. Honestly, it's not. Kind of like with the vacation thing, all it takes is one to be expensive. In this case, my 2 dogs. My 2 dogs are by far more expensive than any other pet I have. My rabbit is a great runner-up, and then my reptiles all kind of fall in behind. The reptiles actually don't add up to that much. Their bulbs are like pennies, you know, they add up to cents on the electricity bill. You know, there's things you can do to save energy, like insulating your tanks and covering the tank tops. PVC is a great insulator, getting PVC tanks and stuff like that. So I don't know what it adds up to, but it's probably not as much as people think it is. You know, I'm not in debt because of my animals. Check your own budget and get what you can afford and what you're comfortable with. Don't put yourself to like pennies of like, I can't buy them food this week. Never do that. But also, I have a lot of animals, but they're not as expensive as people think. And I think we'll stop there. That's a lot of questions and a lot of talking. So thanks guys for watching this. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell, and be back every Friday. I post videos weekly, so if you want to be here and watch videos, come back Friday. So thanks guys for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye!